Friends, it's Laura Godwin again. I am here with another super frequently asked question. Remember, I am going through the top things that people ask me over and over again, and I am just answering them on my YouTube channel because I realize that many people may have the same questions and some of us just might not think to ask them, or maybe there'll be a question that you'll want to know the answer to in the future. So I am just answering them out loud. No, I am not the expert on any of these topics. I'm just truly answering from my heart and from the experience that I've had, even some of my what not to do's, because I learned the hard way that it might not work. Or maybe it just didn't work for me and it might actually work for you. Who knows? But my next topic is one that I've been asked 3 times just in the last couple of days. Yeah. And it's a super fun one. In fact, I might not be able to cover all of the answers or tips in just one video. So there might be a part 2 to this. We will see. So what's the question? It's, how do you put on retreats? Another lady asked it this way just this week. What are the top to-do things at one of your retreats? Another lady asked me last week, I need your advice on planning my retreat. So I'm just going to dive into this. It's a big, broad topic, and I probably won't do things in the right order or say things in the right order, but hopefully you'll leave this video inspired to maybe plan something for your leaders or downline. So the biggest thing about a retreat, I've been doing them since 2011. My first one was maybe my favorite. I was way in over my head. I had never even been to a retreat before. And here I was planning one for my directors, the directors underneath me, the ones that were looking to me for the how-to. And here I didn't even know how to, but I spent a lot of time preparing for that first retreat. And I don't ever think that I leave one of my retreats feeling like that I nailed it. Okay? Because that's my personality, is to always be searching for improvement. Like, where can I improve? How could I have made this better? Like, what were the sticky spots that I feel like next year I need to figure out a way around? You know, like, there are so many times where I probably should be maybe celebrating the things that I did well, but my personality is, let's find a fix for the things that could be improved upon. I'm an Enneagram 1. Can you tell? Anyway, and there's so many things I want to tell you. So first things first, if you've never hosted a team meeting, or if you've not routinely hosted a team meeting, I think that would be a great place to start. I feel like that you should get your feet wet, and this is absolutely the advice that I gave someone just 2 days ago on Monday. If you've not been proficient in planning a smaller event, then I feel like that planning a huge event could be maybe getting the cart before the horse. I feel like you'd feel more confident if you got your feet wet with some small 1 or 2 hour team meetings first. Get a couple of those under your belt. Learn from the small events so that you can plan a much larger event. Because if you can't say that you can successfully manage an event for a 2 hour time slot, then would signing yourself up for managing an event for 2 days be a little bit over your head? Possibly. In 2011, I definitely had a couple of years of team meetings under my belt before I embarked on something like a 2 or 3 day retreat. Okay. Then once you've gotten that, confidence to host a 2 hour event many times for your team or your downline, whatever, then maybe you could do a summer workshop or a fall workshop or a back to school workshop or a whatever you want to call it. A workshop to me is a 4, 6, 8 hour event that would not include an overnight stay. So you would call it, I don't even know what you could call it, like a sample workshop or a recruiting workshop, or I don't know. Like, there are so many fun ideas, and I've used so many of these ideas for workshops that I've had in the past. They work really well. They're also less intimidating for the host, you, the organizer, whatever, event coordinator, you. They're less intimidating for you and challenging for you because you don't have to worry about the overnight stay. You could do this literally from 9 to 2 on a Saturday, or from noon to 4 on a Saturday. I've hosted so many of these, and they are, in my opinion, even more fun than a team meeting because you're a little bit more committed. The people that are there are a little bit more focused and committed, and they're, I don't know, I love them a lot. So anytime I plan something that's overnight, I'm going to name it retreat, and that's a little bit more intimidating maybe because you have the logistics of where people are going to stay. And are people going to pay for their own hotel room, or are you going to rent a large event space or an Airbnb? Like, there's a lot of things to figure out. So that's a little bit more intimidating, maybe a little bit more challenging. And I think that you will feel so much more ready to do an event like that after you've hosted some smaller team meetings, workshops, whatever you want to call them. Okay. And I'm so curious if you have some cooler or more fun words than team meeting, or more fun words than workshop, more fun words than retreat. I'd love to know what you call yours because I feel like I use the same words over and over for 13 years. So anyway, after you've gotten ready to you're ready to host your event, I'm going to strip it down and say, hey, what I'm about to tell you is going to work even if you've never really gotten good at creating your own team meetings. So no matter which one of these 3 that you're planning for, I'm going to go ahead and tell you what I'm about to say will apply to any of those 3. What I do, and I'm telling you I'm not the expert, so feel free to just pick me apart here because I know that everybody probably does them differently. But what I do is I literally look over the guest list or the potential guest list. So maybe I don't have the actual guest list yet, but I know approximately who I'm going to be putting this on for, or at least the title, the rank. Who am I reaching out for? Where am I doing this? Am I doing it in an area where most of these consultants are new, or maybe their challenge is that they are, it's a big, heavy Cincy area. So maybe I don't know the names on the guest list, but I know pretty much I know the type of person that's going to be attending. Maybe I'm doing a retreat for just my star and superstar consultants. Maybe I'm doing a retreat just for my directors. I don't know. But whatever it is that I'm putting on, I look at that list, that guest list or the potential guest list. I get the names down, or at least the kind of people groups that I know I'm going to be serving that weekend or that day or that team meeting. And then I ask myself, what do I want them to leave with? What is it that they need to leave with? Do they need to leave with a feeling of rejuvenation and connection and feeling empowered? Or maybe I look at them and I'm like, dang, they don't need empowerment. They need a big, swift kick in the booty. We know that sometimes that's what's needed, right? They don't need to be pumped up. They need to be told, jump out the nest. You know what I mean? What do they need from this? Other times I'm preparing, my heart because I'm looking at that list and I'm like, dang, they just need a rest and relaxation time. They just need to not work and just be served and loved on. And they need pampering and downtime and laughter. They need laughter. I mean, we all need laughter. So once I look at that list and I realize I'm writing down beside that list of names the things that I feel like they need from me. What is it that is going to make them leave feeling that their cup was filled up? I want full cups from every human. And how can I serve them in that time to make sure that when they leave, they feel like their cup was filled? That's a big, tall order. But that's where my heart starts whenever I'm planning a retreat. So a lot of times when these questions come in to me, a couple of months ago, a lady reached out to me and was like, hey, help me plan a retreat. I'm doing this for, 20 or 30 people that are not even in my downline, and they're all star directors, and I need you to help me plan this from start to finish. And I'm like, this is big because I don't even know these people. This is big because she didn't even know these people. And that's hard because you're filling an agenda for people that you don't even know. You don't know what they need. You don't know. Oh my gosh, that's hard. What did I tell her to do? I told her to get with some of the people, even if it were 5. If she could find 5 people that she felt like were going to be in attendance, that she needed to reach out to those 5 people and have a one-on-one with them and ask them, hey, where are you in your business? Where are you in your life? Where are you in this journey? Do you feel like that you're at a 10 in your leadership? Do you feel like you're at a 10 in your motivation and inspiration? Like, where do you feel like you're subpar? Where do you feel like that your hangups and challenges are? Because once an event coordinator knows that, then we can plan the agenda. Once we know what they need out of this event, then we can move forward. Do they want systems? Do they want samples? Do they want pampering? Do they want to network and connect? Do they need, I don't know. But they will tell you. And when they tell you, then you are ready to fill that agenda up. Yes, I believe that every one of my events, my small events, my big events, my every event for every rank, every day, every year, every time is going to be filled and started with an icebreaker of some sort, because I'm an introvert and I know that anytime I come into an event, I am feeling all sorts of, I don't deserve to be here. I am scared that someone's going to talk to me, but I'm also scared that no one's going to talk to me. Like, introvert, socially awkward, that's Laura. And so every time I create an event, I go into it with some kind of ice-breaking, let's have fun, hopefully get them laughing, because if you can get someone laughing, then I just feel like it heals the soul. And we all need to laugh. And so within the first hour of any event that I do, I want there to be laughter. I want there to be giggling and ice breaking and connecting, because I realize that the extroverts in the world are naturally going to connect, and they're going to look for ways to create bonds early on. Maple, hush. She's whining and crying because I'm not talking to her, I'm talking to you. Anyway, but the facts on the table are that the introverts are going to be running from the idea of connection. The introverts of the world, are probably only going to connect if we're forced to, or if it's fun. And so I'm going to tell you that I've had events even recently where someone has later told me, Laura, I was already booking my flight back home on the first night until you did XYZ, or until you had us do XYZ. What if I had not created that icebreaker? What if I had not given them a reason to connect with each other early on and have fun and laugh and giggle and play? Then they would have left. And that scares me. That's so scary, because I know how much fun they had those extra days that if they would have left, they'd have missed out on, and maybe never attended another retreat again, maybe never come to another team meeting again. So I think early on in your event, you need to have a plan for how you're going to get them laughing and having fun and mingling and networking. And oh my gosh, I haven't even gotten into like what to do beyond the first icebreaker. I also need you to know that some people, they don't know what they need. So they may tell you that they need motivation in their business, but really it's bigger than that. They're really feeling disconnected and all sorts of depressed in their personal life. And they haven't maybe even realized that. So they may tell you that they need motivation and inspired, and they may tell you that they're feeling in a funk in their Scentsy business, but honey, really, they're feeling like that as soon as they get out of bed in the morning, and it's because of their marriage, or it's because they haven't had enough one-on-one time with friends, or it's because they're going through a bad spot in their parenting, or it's because they are chemically imbalanced or hormonally imbalanced, or they are low in B12 and they just haven't had lab works done. I'm going to tell you that you never know who's walking through that door, and they may not even know what they need. And so don't feel like that. I don't know how to say this, but don't feel like that you can take on the big, tall order of healing everyone, but you can dang sure try. And so one thing that I have to do at my events is have some kind of like real life call to action for happiness, because Cincy don't fix everything. And if they're broken on a personal level, then I don't care how perfect you bring that agenda and how perfect that training is and how perfect your everything is at your event. If they're broken on a personal level, then they're never going to be whole on a Cincy level. And so I think that every event that I've ever tried to do, even back from 2011 and beyond, my first team meeting was like the summer of 2009. And I think even then, I know for sure that I was focused on making sure that that there was something at my event that was going to try to connect with them on a personal level to help them in their personal life. At my very first team meeting, we shared recipes. And we shared date night ideas at my very first team meeting in 2009. Why did I do that? That has nothing to do with sales and recruiting, but it has everything to do with making sure that they're at least paying attention to the relationships in their life. It has everything to do with making sure that, hey, if their relationships in their personal life are healthy, then more than likely their relationships in their Cincy life are going to be healthier, right? I don't know. You can't. Also, I just want to tell you, because I'm such I try to serve and I try to please, and so I'm a nervous wreck at these events because I am into the details and I am just wanting everybody to have fun. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, some people, you can't fix them and you shouldn't try to. And that's really hard advice for me because of my nature, of my human nature. But you have to let go of the end result. So you plan, you do the very best you can, you give it 1,010%, and God knows I do. Ask anybody that's ever been to anything that I've ever put on. I give 100,000,000 everything to it. But then I have to let go of the, what's the word? I have to let go of the end result, but there's a better word that I can't think of. I can't attach my worth to someone else's end result. I can't attach my feeling of, that's it. When I'm planning it, that's what I want. But at the end, I have to release what happens, as long as I know in my heart, and I can go to bed at night knowing that I've given 100% and that I've really, really given my all. I have to just kind of disconnect myself with the end result. If someone leaves and I know that they didn't get enough out of it, I can't internalize that, because that's not healthy. And if I start to do that, it will affect me wanting to do my next event, because I'll feel like a failure. I'll feel like, man, they didn't say thank you. They didn't have a game-changing moment. They went home, and I've actually had people that have been to my retreats before ultimately 2 or 3 or 4 years later even get out of Cincy. Is that a reflection of what I did or didn't do well? It can't be. I can't take credit for someone. I can't put that on myself. Yes, maybe I could have done something better, or maybe I shouldn't have wasted time in this area and I should have spent more time in that area. Yes, I'm going to pick myself apart. But at the end of the day, I have to connect with what went well, and I have to disconnect with what I can't control. And so, have I learned things from 13 years of events? Yes. Yes, I've learned a lot. Am I still doing some of the same things that I did back in 2009 at my events? Heck yeah, because I see that they worked well. Am I always thirsty and hungry and looking so desperately into that next new fun thing that's going to make everyone enjoy themselves even more? Yes. Have I spent way too much money on things and way too much time on things that later I would deem unnecessary or whatever, boring? Yeah. You're going to grow. You're going to live and learn. Have I tried things that other people did at their retreats thinking that it would work well for mine and it didn't? Yeah. It's a growth. You could take my agenda, and by the way, my agenda is always changing. I don't think I get bored easily, and I don't think I've ever kept the same agenda for any 2 events that I do, because I'm just always wanting to change it up and make it fresh. And so sometimes people will say, hey, Laura, can I get your agenda that you use on all your events? And I'm like, I don't have one. Like, I make it up as I go. I'm just throwing things in. Even if I have an agenda, which I do, we deviate from it. I always call my agenda soft agendas because probably not going to stick to it super perfectly. I try, but sometimes God just gives me really fun ideas right in the spur of the moment, and we go that way, right? So, have an agenda, have whatever your comfort zone is, but be willing to like ebb and flow. I've been smack dab in the middle of an event before. This happens almost every event, I guess. And as I'm looking across the people, I realized that maybe I got it wrong initially in what I thought they needed. And so I'm not afraid to like completely swerve into another lane, because that's where I feel like that they are needing the day to go or the time to go. And so as I'm reading the people, I'm picking up, I'm sometimes pulling people off to the side, and I'm asking them, hey, how's it going? What did you feel like was your best moment from today? And from there, I can kind of pick up where I need to shift the focus the next hour or the next day or the next whatever. Does that make sense? This was all over the place, and I don't even know if you got what you needed from it. I feel like I could do a part 2, part 3, part 4, part 10 to this video, but I hope that this kind of gives you a little bit of a focus on planning your own events, because I don't feel like that if you were to perfectly carbon copy a Laura event, I don't know that it would be what your people need. I don't know that you would even have any joy or passion in planning a carbon copy Laura event, because maybe it's fun for me, maybe it works for me, but it could be absolutely stressful and not fun for you. And so I feel like that, as with anything, authenticity is going to lead the way. You finding your genuine path on an event that makes you happy inside, that trumps anything, any advice that I could give you. So anyway, I'm going to stop it there. I hope that this was helpful. Maybe you're not ready to do a full-fledged 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 10-day retreat. Maybe you need to start small and plan a 2-hour in the back of a Mexican restaurant team meeting. Host that first. Do something in your own living room. Do something at your own church or your own, I don't know, small place in your town, bakery, smoothie bar. Like, there are so many different fun events that you could do that don't require a whole lot of planning on your part, but gives your team or your group or your directors tons of time to connect and network. And honestly, that's probably the most valuable part of any event that you're going to pull off anyway, is that connection time and that networking time. Get yourself confident with doing some of those first, and then grow yourself into the next bigger event, maybe a workshop, maybe a retreat. Hope this makes sense. I hope it helps. Keep me posted on maybe some fun ideas that you've tried in the past, or reach out and let me know some new fun ideas on wording that you use to name your events. I would love to know some of those ideas too. All right, take care.